How can you personalize your messaging to physicians for greater prescription intent? What are people saying about your brand? How can you make your marketing efforts more precise and effective? These and many more questions are answered on this podcast, which is here to serve as a playbook for all your pharma marketing needs. As your host, Saumya Prakash, co-founder of Multiplier AI Solutions, sits across pharma industry's top experts. This is your place to get all the insights about Gen AI, data, and beyond.
So, hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Pharma Marketing Playbook, Data, Gen AI, and Beyond, your go to podcast for mastering pharmaceutical marketing, data analytics, and AI trends. Join industry leaders as we explore cutting edge strategies, the role of technology, and how data driven insights are transforming the pharma landscape. Tune in for actionable insights and stay ahead in the fast evolving pharma marketing world. I am Saumya Prakash, co founder at Multiplier AI, and today we have a very special guest joining us, Ms. Trayanna Whiting. Trayanna is a distinguished healthcare informaticist with a remarkable blend of academic excellence and professional expertise in clinical informatics and electronic health record systems. Currently, she serves as the Director of Education for Data Analytics and Informatics at the American Health Information Management Association, AHIMA, in Chicago, Illinois. In this role, Triana drives advancements in data analytics and informatics education, fostering innovation in health information management, and also improving patient care outcomes through technology driven solutions. Before her current position, Triana was the Director of Informatics at Catawba Hospital under the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services in Virginia. She also held significant roles at Duke University Health System in North Carolina, where she contributed as a registered nurse and later as a nursing informatics system specialist. Academically, Triana has been a trailblazer, earning a Master of Science in Nursing from Duke University and a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Radford University, where she was honored on the Dean's List for her outstanding academic performance. Her dedication to excellence and her ability to bridge technology with healthcare delivery makes her a highly influential figure in the industry. Triana, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here.
Great. So, to start with, you have such an accomplished career and you have achieved so many great milestones. I would like to know if you could share what initially inspired you to pursue a career in healthcare and how did your journey evolve from clinical nursing roles to leadership in data analytics and informatics?
Well, I was initially drawn to healthcare because my desire to make a difference in the world and to help others around me. My journey started with clinical nursing, where I began my career as a certified nurse's aide prior to going to nursing school. After nursing school and obtaining my registered nursing license, I soon obtained a position in the Specialized Nursing Internship Program, or what they called SNP, at Duke University Health System in their perioperative care unit, managing recovery care for patients just after surgery. I quickly moved to working with pediatric patients and managing complex cases in various healthcare settings. As I gained experience, I recognized the potential for technology to enhance patient outcomes and improve workflows. Specifically, a colleague noticed I knew how to operate the system efficiently and assisted my other colleagues. Duke uses Epic as their electronic health record system, and I became what was known as a super user. This realization led me to transition into healthcare informatics, starting with obtaining an advanced degree in healthcare informatics from Duke University. Then I worked at Duke as a nursing information systems specialist, where I could leverage data to make a broader impact, ultimately guiding me to leadership roles in data analytics and informatics.
Wow, that's wonderful. So you have kind of crossovered from nursing to informatics, and I think led the practical implementation, in this domain, and that's a very unique blend, I must say. So, with a nursing background and experience in healthcare informatics, how has your clinical expertise influenced your approach to data analytics? And this is, I'm coming from a practical perspective, because in this particular forum we talk to practitioners of this art. So it's both art and a science, and I would like to know your perspective. How did you apply your healthcare knowledge dealing with the patients to this aspect of analytics?
I think it's important to remember the human element. Technology is not going anywhere. We might as well make friends with it. And my clinical expertise has been invaluable in shaping my approach to data analytics. Having worked directly with patients, I understand the importance of timely, accurate data in the clinical decision making process. My experiences in patient assessment, emergency situations, and working closely with interdisciplinary teams has shown me firsthand how critical data can be in delivering effective care. This insight guides my work today, where I prioritize creating analytic solutions that are both technically sound and truly supportive of patient-centered care. Like I said earlier, I see the human element of what data and technology focus on. When you see a patient lying in a hospital bed with a cardiac monitor on that is integrated into the electronic health record system to give you warnings that there are potential catastrophic events, you can literally see the connection.
That's yeah, that's very moving. In fact, especially I think the patients and the nurse connection is far more empathy driven than because they see the caregiver, the nurses more frequently, and they depend on them. So I think the bond between the patients is much stronger that way. Any specific
Exactly.
insights, anything that you recollect from your journey where you were driven towards patient care, and you realize that if there was a little bit more of technology to this entire thing, you could have done so much better?
Yes, I mean, I had many examples of how technology could help with integration of equipment and what we think of machines as helping a patient. One specific example was when I worked in directly after patients had surgical. So they say they had an operation and they would be on these monitors, numerous monitors, mainly cardiac monitors, but other patients also had where they needed to have their cerebral spinal fluid monitored. And it's been used for years, but where it's basically a plastic bin and you can see that cerebral spinal fluid collecting. I feel that if we had a way to have technology measure even more accurately these incredibly critical measurements for patients. I mean, the list can go on. There are so many ways that we can use technology to affect human lives.
Wow, I mean, yeah. So this would not only make life simpler for the caregivers, the providers, but I think maybe we could save a lot of lives.
Right. And early alerts, alerting us further. For example, right now they're working in sepsis to determine earlier recognition of sepsis in a patient. And they are now having decision making in the electronic health record where it says alert, there's signs that this patient may have sepsis symptoms. And it literally is saving lives. This technology, this gathering of data is improving patient outcomes.
Wow, man, amazing. It's such a fast evolving field, and especially when it comes to healthcare, I think the data is generated in great quantums, from all sources: lab data, bedside data, we have physician data, treatment data. All the things are getting captured every minute, as we observe the patient. staying current and staying much aware of what's happening is the key, because if we just lapse maybe for a couple of hours, the outcomes could be, really, really fatal. So how do you ensure, now this is, from the perspective of a education director, how do you ensure that your course curriculum, the content, always reflects the latest trends, and how do you prepare your future students to meet this industry demands? I'm also asking this because a lot of researchers go through our platform, and they would want to learn, from how in US the medical system looks at the education aspect.
Absolutely. I have a saying I love called "You either win or you learn." To stay current, you have got to continuously learn. I personally actively engage in the latest advancements in the field, such as the EHR or electronic health record updates and the new data management practices. I regularly collaborate with stakeholders and attend industry conferences, which helps me incorporate cutting edge trends into my curriculum. My goal is to always equip students with practical skills and insights that align with today's industry demands, ensuring that they're well prepared for careers in healthcare informatics. In fact, I just passed my continuing education requirements to maintain my EPIC ClinDoc certification because there are new advancements, like you said, all the time. I must be up to date if I am teaching the future leaders in healthcare. It's important to me to continuously gain knowledge. I am a lifelong learner. In fact, I am starting next semester to work toward my doctorate in nursing practice. I want to inspire others to stay up to date. You cannot be effective if you don't know the latest evidence-based practice. What we thought was scientifically based and absolute knowledge 10 years ago is no longer the case. We have had a pandemic since then. We must stay on top of the current trends and any industry demands so that we are delivering the best possible care. Think of the ones that you love and how you would want them treated with the best care that is backed by evidence. So my goal is lifelong learning.
Yeah, this is so inspiring. And as a testimony to that, you also hold an Epic ClinDoc certification, which is really highly valued in the clinical documentation space. So, specifically coming to this particular certification, how did this certification help you address the challenges in specifically the documentation and data accuracy when it comes to clinical settings? Did it help you in any way?
Oh, yes, absolutely. My Epic ClinDoc certification has been essential in helping me optimize EHR systems, particularly in improving documentation accuracy and workflow efficiency. This expertise allows me to tackle data integrity challenges head on, ensuring that clinical documentation is both accurate and efficient, which ultimately supports better patient outcomes, and it enhances the experience for healthcare providers. Epic integrates continuing education exams. Like I said, I just passed mine last Friday.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you. Into maintaining my certification so I can stay up to date on those relevant clinical documentation practices, even if I'm no longer working in a principal trainer capacity. I used to teach the 7 hour, they reduced it to 4 hour, but the class for clinical documentation for the registered nurses that came to Duke, also the unit managers. So you are teaching them, if you didn't document it, you didn't do it. It is a way to ensure, as I would tell them, you want your electronic world to mimic the real world as much as possible. EHRs like Epic now have avatars. So before a nurse even puts their eyes on a patient, they will know where on that avatar the patient has a wound. or the patient has a peripheral IV. It is important that that electronic world is accurate so that you are equipping your healthcare providers with the knowledge even prior to actually seeing that patient, which I think is so important.
Wow, this is insane. Like, having the avatar of the, patient before even, touching the patient.
Right. And you can even turn the avatar around and see what's on their back, see what's on their, left ankle. See it's incredible the technology and the data points that we're obtaining from the electronic health record to empower providers, to empower patients also. Epic has a My Chart, empower patients in their own roles in their care. So data's everywhere. Information, it's incredible, it's powerful.
So, is this technology available, accessible to everyone, or is it very expensive right now? It's only available to a few providers.
So Epic, as far as I know, I wouldn't quote me, but Epic, over 50% of healthcare facilities, organizations in the United States have Epic. And I do believe Epic is also in other countries currently. I have heard that it is the pricier option, so which can create some barriers for Epic. In my personal experience, I've worked with numerous electronic health record systems, and I did find Epic to be very user friendly and very cutting edge technology. Their campus is amazing. It's like an adult Disney World. They've got slides and themes and storybook themes. They're very forward thinking and innovative.
Yeah, I think that could inspire some of the EHRs that rest of the countries are using. In terms of digitizing the whole experience for the provider, for the patient, because I think still.
Right.
In many of the developing countries, we still have EHRs still restricted to numerical data, capturing only the basic parameters and trying to make sense through machine learning and analytics. But we have not, I think, reached that level of visualization yet.
Right, right. And there's a lot of opportunity there. The other large EHR organization is Oracle Cerner. So Epic and Oracle Cerner are the two largest. I have worked with both, and I'm considered a systems specialist or even a systems expert, which is under the umbrella of healthcare informatics.
Right. And I think it'll slowly. So, what's the future of EHRs? Like, how do you see this getting even further more
Oh,
refined?
augmented reality, I see so many options. It's the sky is the limit. Better diagnostic capabilities, safer decision making for nurses, CNAs, medical doctors, nurse practitioners. I mean, the whole crew of providing healthcare professionals, and more involvement with your own healthcare as a patient, where there's integration with what you specify you would like in your own healthcare journey. The sky's the limit. Really, surgeries that have augmented reality, you can tell more precisely where you're going in a surgical procedure. I mean, I could get very excited and spend a whole lot of time talking on the possibilities and capabilities of an EHR and how meaningful that they are to healthcare.
Wonderful. So, as we know, would just like to know from a practitioner's perspective, do you see that with these robotic surgeries or AR driven surgeries, the patient outcomes are better, they feel happier, the cost is reduced, and the outcomes are better?
I believe there have been quite a few studies on that subject. And yes, it is safer and more patient satisfaction, because if the procedures and the surgeries are completed more accurately, there is often less pain, faster healing times, more accuracy, more opportunity to have the entire process be a better process for the patient and the practitioner.
Wow, that's wonderful to know. Certainly, I think there is also an element where in the training space, there is a huge scope for AI to come in. Maybe, yeah. So maybe is there something that you have some thoughts around that? How could it influence the educational aspect?
Yes, with any new technology, there will need to be new training, new education. You must stay on top of it. Also, be knowledgeable about the ethical considerations. If we are using AI to do things such as assist with patient note taking by practitioners, we need to ensure that they are being considered for, they need ethical considerations in terms of, is this the correct language to use? Is it the medical terminology that's accurate? Is it biased? There are so many questions that we need to ask. What are the vendors doing to provide security for the AI to ensure that it doesn't violate any health privacy laws, and protects that patient's privacy? We must educate people on the importance of, when we embrace change, that we are doing it as safely and as ethically as possible.
That's really, I think it comes from a leadership mindset, and it shows your depth of touching across so many information systems, and thank you for sharing that. I think I would also like to learn and or maybe ask you some questions on your leadership style and how you have, because you've grown so much in your career, and some of the times these are kind of role models for many of us to look up to. And this requires not only just technical skills, but a lot of interpersonal leadership skills. So, according to you, in your success journey, what do you believe was essential to be a successful leader in this field? And how did you cultivate these in your career? And more so, maybe as a woman leader, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yes, absolutely. I believe adaptability and strong communication skills are key. Especially as a woman, you are representing a lot of other people that want to ask, how did you get where you are? How are you communicating effectively with everyone on a team from many diverse backgrounds? We are all human beings at the core of it that have had different experiences since the time we were born that have created us to be at this point. So you've got to be adaptable. The way you speak to one person may not be the appropriate way to speak to another person. You've got to be able to collaborate and have a team approach. I really believe adaptability, strong communication skills, and a collaborative approach are essential for success in healthcare informatics leadership. And throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to cultivate these skills. I've worked with cross-functional teams. I've driven process improvements, and I've consistently prioritized open communication. I often tell people, tell me how I can be helpful. What are the gaps? What are the needs? Tell me your ideas. People just want to be seen and heard. And if you can make people feel seen and heard, you are going to rise up as that leader. You're actually lifting yourself up by lifting others up. In my personal experience, I go in with an attitude of, I don't know it all. Please tell me what you have experienced, because I don't know someone else's experience. So if I go in with an openness and a willing to learn, while also being open to telling my story and how I have experienced moving into leadership roles, I feel that prioritizes that open communication. My experience in various roles, from course development, training and development, to large scale EHR implementations, has strengthened my ability to lead effectively in a dynamic, data focused healthcare environment. It's been incredibly rewarding to learn and grow and feel empowered by empowering others, connecting. So that's what's
True,
important to me.
true. I think very powerful messages there. Another thing which I think goes underrated in healthcare is that the practitioners, the people who are at the providers and nurses, physicians, they go through a lot, and also there's a lot emotionally that they go through because it's not always a very happy journey in a hospital. We
Right. You
also
have a
see.
front row seat to human suffering. You also have a front row seat to human joy, often in the same day.
And as a human being we do get impacted. It's very hard to compartmentalize and insulate yourself.
Right. Right. I thought that I was not taking on the stress when I worked in the pediatric PACU, but after I was out of it for a little while to go to pediatric specialty clinic, I realized the impact of of the children that were in pain had on me. But it took a while because I compartmentalized. I pushed away. We are human beings at the end of the day. And my best advice I give nurses that are coming into the field is don't absorb someone else's negativity. We have no idea what their day was like. And it's often not about you. And if you can ask yourself, how can I learn and grow while not absorbing negativity? You're going to do much better in the field.
Yeah, that's true. And I think, in this entire scenario where we have so much going on, the joys, the pains, the stress, people coming and going out, it's important to understand that it's end of the day, a human being can make mistakes in judgment. Whether
Right.
it's providing the treatment, it could be multitasking. We are also stressed out with various other things. So technology has a very important role to play in terms of keep the nudge on, keeping them back on track and assisting them.
Exactly. Where humans may falter, let's use technology to our advantage. Where we may be tired, they're still going. Where we may have safety concerns because we are human and we make errors, they are able already to help and give you a nudge and give you an alert that something is going on with that patient whereas your human brain may be tired, your human body may be tired. That EHR is still going to say, hey, this patient's blood pressure is far higher than it was previously. And this is something you should look at.
True. I mean, it's amazing use cases can be, I think, kind of, brought out, and it would make such a big difference, to human life if this, kind of materializes the way we are visualizing as leaders.
Right. Exactly. I mean, the reduction in medication errors already is incredible. It I cannot stress enough how much this technology has been helpful. And, of course it's not perfect and we're working on ways to improve all the time. And that's where we need that leadership in health informatics and data analytics. And we need those forward thinkers and the thinkers who have had the clinical experience. We are the liaison between the computer analysts and the people who have provided the patient care. I'll know what to tell the electronic health record analyst. I'll know to say, hey, that wouldn't make sense for a nurse. The drop down menu that you created, these options would not make sense to a nurse. And I'm able to translate that, which I think is so incredible. We're able to bridge that gap.
True,
So,
very true. And this comes out of experience. This cannot be found elsewhere. A pure technology person cannot understand how much difference it could make.
right. Exactly. It's just, and nor do they have to, they don't speak that language. I speak the clinical language. They speak the computer science language. We all have our strengths. And that's what makes it so important to have that collaboration. You know, I'm glad I started as a certified nurse's aide because I will always remember the importance of that role. Even when I became a registered nurse, I had such respect for everyone working around me. And I think that's incredibly important when you are becoming a leader, is that you've been there. You've worked with many different kinds of people. You've experienced different things, not that you just started at a leadership role like, oh, okay, I'm 18 years old and I'm going to be a leader. Not that that doesn't happen, but there's where the growth is when you obtain that resilience because you've worked toward it.
True. So I think that's, rightly put, that you have experience with your emotions aligned to the patient as a nurse, and then you have understood the language of health informatics. And that's why your role at AHIMA is actually shaping the future of healthcare education, which is, just such an incredible and such an important role, if you look at it from even a country's perspective. So what trends or innovations in data analytics excite you most in your capacity, and how do you think that they should influence the curriculum?
I am excited about so many advancements, especially in artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, and real time data visualization. I think it's so exciting that practitioners can have a dashboard in real time that shows in a very simple, visually pleasing way the data. So they're not looking any longer at an Excel spreadsheet, where it makes their eyes blur. They're looking at like a pie chart or pie graph or a bar chart. It makes sense to the human brain. Our brains want to see things in the simplest way that it can make sense of them. That's why we have marketing and branding, that if we see, a Nike symbol, we know what to expect. We know what it is. These innovations are transforming healthcare, and I'm incorporating them into my curriculum to prepare students for the future. By focusing on these trends, I'm equipping students with the skills they need to make data informed decisions that can and will significantly impact patient care and even operational efficiency. So I'm excited about so many things.
I think, yeah, lots to learn from that perspective, from the curriculum that you're designing. For those of us who are interested in a career in healthcare informatics, because it's going to be, I think, one of the crazy fields to be in going forward in the future.
Yes.
So, what advice would you like to, give, especially for those who are from a clinical background today, but like you, who may be considering a shift into the field of data analytics, or who, like you, want to cross over and do this, these combinations?
Absolutely. I get asked that question a lot from nurses or even physical therapists, people who are working in healthcare clinically that want to make that transition because they are excited about data or they do really well with the EHR. My advice is to build on your clinical insights and remain open to that continuous learning. Transitioning into healthcare informatics does require a combination of patient care knowledge and technical skills. Things such as AHIMA, where I work, offers a certification called the Certified Health Data Analyst, so CHDA. This is a certification where you take an exam and it is offered globally. There are requirements prior to taking the exam. It is, like I said, offered globally. And in addition to obtaining certification, another example, I have my board certification as a nurse informaticist from the ANCC, or the American Nursing. So you have many options to get these additional certifications after your clinical experience. Another option is hands-on projects, mentorships, being mentored by someone else who's already in the field. I get asked to be a mentor pretty consistently, and I love being a mentor. It makes me feel such a sense of purpose to give back to the many people who have put so much work in as clinicians, especially nurses. For me, I have a soft spot. Nurses that are interested in transitioning to healthcare informatics, I love to work with them, and they often pass that mentorship on to someone else. So embracing continuous learning can and will make the transition smoother and even more fulfilling.
I think that's so generous of you that, despite your hectic schedule and work and family and everything else, you still are able to mentor students and future leaders. That's just so amazing, and that's so generous of you. And you have also pointed out certain resources which definitely our audience and viewers should refer and go back to and see for yourself how you could combine your clinical knowledge and then add on to that extra information informatics knowledge, and does it also help physicians, by the way, Triana? Do you think it's something that can add value to the physicians as well?
Oh, yes. Physicians are getting more and more interested in health informatics as well. There is the American Medical Informatics Association. They have many resources for physicians that are interested in working in healthcare informatics. In fact, a friend of mine was working at Stanford in California, and he was working with informatics when I was interested in pursuing an advanced degree at Duke in informatics. And he told me more about the role that that people working in clinical environments have on transitioning into health informatics. And he got me really excited about the opportunities and possibilities. And I believe by 2029, they are predicting a 16% increase in need for health informaticists, at least in America, in the United States of America. So I think that that's going to give us a picture of globally where the trajectory is going for interest and need. And I think it's going to absolutely be, it's going to change. It's going to change the way that the jobs, I don't know how to say this in the best way, but there are going to be many more jobs available in the future. And it's so broad right now that I feel that it's going to be categorized afterwards. So you may be a health informaticist, but you may have a specialty of data analytics. And that's what you want to pursue more in depth. And you have such great opportunity. I absolutely am passionate about health informatics and where it's going.
I
It's a
can see
great
that
field.
little smile and the positivity coming out in your message, and I think that's so heartening to hear, because all the time we just hear about AI, creating a worry. Will it take away my job?
Yes.
So at the
Yes.
same time, leaders like you are saying that there will be 16% more requirement, and that's very heartening.
Make friends with it. It's not going anywhere. If you don't want, I think it's that AI is going to take some jobs? Yes. But then get to know AI. Be an integral part of the human being that's ensuring that AI is working the way that it should. So I'm a fan of, if you can't beat it, join it.
Yeah. And I think AI is going to stay, it's not going anywhere. So
Right. It's a disruptive influence.
absolutely. And I mean, you are a person who has pursued so many advanced certifications and degrees. One is, I mean, it's amazing. I don't know how you managed it all, but it's very rare to see such kind of combination and passion of practicing medicine, being a practitioner of things, as well as studying so hard. And how important do you feel, in healthcare, these certifications and regular degrees play a role? And does it actually influence career trajectory and, growth?
I Continuous learning has been absolutely critical in my career, as healthcare and data analytics are fields that continue constantly evolve. I have met people in the field that do not have the amount of degrees and advanced degrees that I have, but they're still continuously learning. For me, staying updated has allowed me to remain at the forefront of healthcare informatics and innovate in both clinical and educational settings. This commitment to learning has shaped my career path, and it continues to broaden my perspective on the industry, ultimately helping me make a positive impact on healthcare professionals and patients as I serve my work in health informatics and as a nursing instructor. I think there are many ways you can continue your education without getting, advanced degrees. There are certifications. The internet has an unbelievable amount of resources and many of them free to learn. Let's say you want to learn Python or SQL and learn some R Studio coding. Get curious is what I tell people all the time. Get curious and use your resources. They are there. You are capable. That's what I often tell people.
Wow, what a wonderful message. Truly coming from a thought leader, in education, in informatics, and having been a practical implementer of so many things. So thank you so much, Triana, for joining us today and sharing your wonderful wealth of knowledge in healthcare informatics, data side, as well as in nursing. Your journey from clinical practice to leading innovative education in health, data, and informatics is absolutely inspiring. And your insights into the importance of how both technical expertise and patient centric care is a lot to think about, I think, for all of us. To our listeners, we hope you found this episode of the Pharma Marketing Playbook, Data Gen AI and Beyond, as enlightening as we did, gaining practical strategies and new perspectives for navigating the complexities of the pharma landscape. Thank you once again, Triana, for your valuable time and insights. To everyone tuning in, stay connected for more discussions that explore the intersections of technology, healthcare, and innovation. Until next time, this is Saumya signing off. Stay curious, stay inspired, and of course, keep learning and pushing the boundaries of what's possible in AI. Thank you, Triana, and
Thank
once
you.
again for your valuable time and insights.
Thank you for joining us in this episode. We hope that the deep insights and knowledge shared today will help your business and brand grow by leaps and bounds. Remember to follow the podcast. And if you wish to know more about Multiplier AI solutions, please visit the links given in show notes.